Hello traders, welcome back to the channel. This is General Trading the Charts Pro, and guys, we're back here with one more video where we're going to be breaking down moving into next week so that we can see how we should be looking at this market going forward. No, I haven't done a video in a while, but guys, I'm back. I'm here to break down the overall market, and we're going to bring in a couple videos looking at some stocks later on down in this week. So stay tuned. We're back to work. All right, let's dive into it. We're going to start off looking at the S&P 500, and guys, you can see my window is set up a little bit different because I want to start bringing to everyone's attention actually using multiple time frame to analyze our charts so that you can pinpoint better entry using your daily chart, weekly chart, 4-hour and your hourly time frame to do a full analysis of any specific stocks as well as the overall market to pinpoint some sniper entry so that you can be more profitable when you enter these trades. All right, so I'm using the Thinkorswim platform today to do this. And looking at the S&P, guys, we can see, let's break it down. This is my daily chart here, weekly chart, my 4-hour chart here, and then in this section, this is my 1-hour chart. All right, so you can follow along. So when we look at the S&P 500 in the hourly or daily time frame, we can see, guys, this market is still a trending market, holding very close to the high right here at the top of the channel. When we look at it in the weekly time frame, it's pretty much market telling us the same thing. Should we be worried about this market perhaps coming down? If we're going to come to that conclusion, that's where we start to move over into some of the smaller time frame like the 4-hour chart as well as the 1-hour. And what we're seeing in the 1-hour is that the market move up into this very same channel, which this is the bigger channel here. But what we are seeing is that the market start to move into a small tight range, right? So we're pretty much a channel within a channel right now. So last Friday, last Thursday, this was the small region that the market was moving in specifically for the SPX. So what I'm looking at is, does the market start breaking down below the short-term support level here? If that happens, then on the daily time frame, we'll look to see the market pull back to the support of the channel. And until the market comes down and break the support of the channel and start to move lower, there is nothing really to worry about on the downside. All right, so I'm still optimistic. This channel is holding up very nicely for the XPX, so I'm anticipating that if momentum comes in stronger, we can see where this thing potentially break out of the channel to the upside and perhaps continue running. All right, so that's how I'm looking at the SPX for right now. I'm not worried that the market is going to come down. The weekly chart, yes, this is a very parabolic move, but guys, you have to follow the trend until the trend is no longer your friend. So basically, until this thing breaks down on the weekly, or we break down out of this channel on the daily, there is nothing really to worry about. All we have to do is find the short-term levels, which is down here, for a short-term bounce. Or if the market breaks out of this becomes a bull flag and we get a move potentially higher. So it is still ideal to find stocks that are not at all-time high and have pulled back to try to make a play on those. All right, so let's move on over NDX. Looking at the NDX was looking pretty good last week, guys. I have to maximize this so that you can see. So this is what I'm anticipating is going to happen with XPX. All right, so same thing. SPY had moved up into this small channel within the channel, and we see this is NDX. Sometime last week we got a break out of that channel, which you can see we break out of the upper resistance level here. Price turn up, boom, breakout, and here we are consolidating on the NDX. So this chart looks very, very, very similar onto SPY, and I'm just 100% convinced that this is potentially what we're going to see happen as far as SPY chart goes. So when we look at the weekly for NDX, which is the Nasdaq, same thing, market trending up higher, very nice trend, moved up to the top of the channel, smaller channel within the bigger channel. When we analyze this short-term pattern here, this is a bull flag. We got a breakout. How much higher can NDX go? Well, when we look at the bounce from the support to the resistance, that would be, you know, the measurement that we would use to try to make a projection as to how high we can see NDX going. It ran from low 13s up to around 15, right, before we got the breakout. So from 15 we could potentially see a 200 point accumulated move on the NDX, which would probably push it somewhere into the 1680s, 16,800 there. Or potentially we could also see this thing come and tap into the 17,000 level there. All right, so the market upside potential, I say, still optimistic. Nothing to worry about yet until on the downside for NDX. In order for this thing to really sell off and go lower, this thing would need to fall back into the small channel at the support here, and then it would really need to break down below this support and come back to lower support, which lower support would still be this uptrending support line here. And then we'd have to get a breakdown below that for the market to actually start tanking. But these are the levels that we would watch in the short term to hold as support. One, upper trend resistance, and then number two, second level support, and then number three would be the long-term trend support level. All right, so those are the levels for NDX. Still optimistic on the long side. Same thing, if we look on the 4-hour time frame, guys, we can see the pattern is still very strong, breakout, and we're continuing to move higher. So this is where we use the short time frame to monitor and see if this thing is setting up to come back down or not. All right, so that's why we use those multiple time frames there to guide us. All right, so looking at Dow has been moving a little bit slow, but structurally I still feel like, you know, we may have a little bit more room to move. Right now we're just consolidating at the weekly trend line at the support, so I'm looking to see, can we break this high that the market had made around the 35,631. If we're able to break out of that, then we can see Dow somehow continue to move. But right now it's just sitting at support, so it's critical right here at this level that, you know, price continues to move up and not come back down below the trend line. If it does come below the trend line, then we'll be looking at these old resistance levels here on this side to hold as support if the trend line breaks. If it breaks down below that, then we're looking for price to come back down to these horizontal level, and the market would kind of continue to move in a sideways pattern. But right now it had already break out of this sideways consolidation here, pop out, pull back, and we had a higher low here, higher than this low right here, and that constitute the pattern of a trend where Dow is making a higher high and a higher low. So right now we have just pulled back a little bit short term to the trend line. We need to get a bounce here for the Dow Jones to continue moving to the upside. All right, so that's it for, you know, this week's market outlook. We've covered NDX, we've looked at SPY, and let's look at the Russell 2000 RUT to see, you know, how is everything looking on the Russell. Guys, actually I did talk about this a while, that, you know, Russell 2000 is just moving sideways. So with a sideways pattern like this is like one of the easiest patterns to trade, where we identify the horizontal support and we know clearly where the horizontal resistance is at, right? So we can see these buy and sell zones or levels very clearly, which is these are the levels we're looking to buy the Russell 2000, and as it gets up into these levels up here, this is where we're looking to sell. All right, and it is approaching this resistance level right now, so you know, this is where we start to liquidate a little bit. We want to hold until, you know, we see this thing come up and start to roll. Then it's clear that, hey, this thing is potentially setting up to come back down. But at some point, I do believe that the Russell 2000 will break out and small cap stocks will continue to make a bigger move to the upside. Weekly chart still very strong. No sign of weakness on the 4-hour. Yes, we run up, very nice to move here, pull back down as we approach this first level of resistance right here. So the risk is a little bit high right now. This thing can very well easily pull back down, but is it coming back all the way down to here? I don't think so, because we can see the 200 moving average is pretty much trending. So we may get a short-term pullback to the 200 SMA somewhere at this level, and then we may get a continuation, which may lead to a breakout as long as the 200 continues to trend in this direction, and as long as the S&P continues to hold very strong. I do believe that that momentum will continue to roll over into the Russell, S&P, Nasdaq looking good as well. So guys, this is our weekly coverage of the overall market. I hope you did find some value in this video. If you did, just hit the thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.